All right, everybody. Welcome to the KMS rundown. I am joined by my lovely co-hosts here. I got the beautiful, lovely, gorgeous Andy Mayo. How you doing, buddy?
Thank you. I needed that. Thank you so much.
Listen, after a week where Kirk called you the ugliest thing he's ever seen, I thought a little motivation would help. And now we actually have a beautiful, lovely co-host with Lauren. What's going on, Lauren?
Hi, guys. I'm pretty pumped to do this. So it's been a fun week.
It has been a fun week. And actually, we're going to cover, first thing we're going to cover is the Kirk YouTube tour. I think this was awesome. Kirk is kind of going to wrap up. Today is Friday. This will air hopefully tonight. So Kirk will be wrapping up with the interns, I think, tonight. And I think that's all he has to do. All three of us were hosts of shows that Kirk has hopped on. So, I mean, what do you got? Mayo, I know you were the first one up, first one to go. So everybody thought you were going to be the best. And then Menners had to blow you out of the water, right? You hear me, Mayo?
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Was I the only one who froze?
Yeah, you froze quick.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Did you hear the question?
No.
Okay, so I was just asking you about Kirk coming on the show. What you thought of it?
It was awesome. I mean, if my genuine answer is that it was awesome, and just unbelievable that he's doing that. The level of interaction with the fans, there's no other show like it, and there's no other guy like him that would be willing to do it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my genuine answer. My prick answer is that he gave me some shit about the length. I don't know how many times in it I deferred to Kirk to say, "You tell me when we're done." So if you have a problem with it being an hour and 20 minutes, take it up with Kirk.
I made a little jab at you on my show. I was like, listen, Kirk, I don't want to go 4.5 hours. But there's no better feeling than hearing Kirk Minahan go, no, you got more time. I mean, that was the best feeling in the world. I mean, really, Kirk, you want to hang out with us? Lauren, how about you? I know you guys it seems like you had a lot of fun on there.
Oh, it was a blast. I was very nervous, and you can tell that he's just a pro. He's a natural talker. So I said, well, even if I'm, having trouble with my words, it's just so natural and easy. And what an experience. I was a little envious of the people who got to go one-on-one. I'm going to be honest. So Mayo, what an opportunity you got, but a ton of fun. Exactly why his fans are as loyal as they are. And I hope people watched the shows because each one did give its own individual, thing about it. So it's been really a fun week of content.
Yeah, I think, that psychopath, whatever his name is, DJ, I actually like that kid. The crazy in his eyes made me completely that meme where the guy is looking at the other girl to Mayo, like my favorite psychopath. That's my new favorite psychopath. Mayo. I was in his DMs. I'm like, listen, anything you need, kid, I'm here for you.
Is that the no one's listening guy?
Yeah, that guy's a psychopath. I love it.
I haven't watched that.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's great. And like the cuts he does are like just quick jabs. So it's like, I don't know. It's kind of a unique show. I think it's going to fit in pretty well here. He's just going to bash people, whatever. That's all the better.
I know he hates red, so I was on board. I didn't even watch the show. It's the best one on YouTube.
I think he hates everything. So
yeah.
Does he hate me?
Like that.
I don't think he mentioned you, Mayo, which is even worse. I
saw a tweet. Well, that is worse. I thought I saw a tweet where he said he liked my show with Kirk, but I don't know if it's really him.
No, no, you're right. He did say he actually liked your show. One of the things he said, though, on Lauren's point is that, why would you have Kirk on the show and do interview style and blah, blah, blah? Why wouldn't you do, something unique? But I think each show did their interview in a unique way to themselves. Like we asked him about Barstool stuff. We asked him about Mincel stuff. Lauren, you guys asked him about his daughter. You asked him about that kind of stuff. Mayo, you asked him about the text line, obviously. So I thought it was unique. In its own way. It's just, I think that's a third person view of it. I think that's a stupid opinion to say we all did, the same question. Like, no, we didn't all do that. Maybe Menners kind of did a summary of the past stuff and everything up until the second that interview occurred. But I thought they were all great. So, I mean, to wrap that up, I know the fans are doing something right now to say our thanks. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And let's get on to our next topic, which is DEC is a scary predator.
or he's the funniest guy. He's the
Or
funniest Minifan right now.
I think that might be. I don't know. I don't want to accuse anybody of being a predator, so I'll go with that at Mayo. What did you think about what he did for that call?
So I had not heard the previous day's segment about those guys, the To Catch a Predator guys. So I was listening the next day, and that they started that up, and then all of a sudden there was the DEC voice, and I was like, oh, they're dropping in, previously made DEC cuts. Mm-hmm. And then as it became clear, like, natural. No, DEC recorded this. Yeah. It's like, what a maniac.
Yeah.
It was one of the funniest fan-driven things in a long time, I think. My hat's off to DEC. It was incredibly funny and self-deprecating.
Lauren, what'd you think about, as a woman, what did you think about that? Did it make you feel uncomfortable?
Of course, it made me feel uncomfortable, and I think that should be for everybody, but I have to steal this from Kirk because it's so true. You picture him like sitting at his dining room table or something, just dropping these ridiculous lines. And I that was probably one of my favorite segments from the week. That was just so funny, so creative. Yeah. And I'd kind of like to know the backstory of exactly how it got pieced together.
I would too.
Kind of picture how it did, but
I know how that message from Steve usually, it's just a message from Steve saying, I need this. And you're instantly like, yes, sir. But to have to ask DEC, like, listen, I need you, I need you to be a sexual predator.
Yeah. Like, we need you to really lean into it.
Describe it too much. He's just like, look, and DEC's like, yeah, I got this. I know exactly what to say.
I mean, if there's anybody he knows is going to back him, it's our guy, Blind Mike, the sexual predator supporter of our worlds. We saw that on Monday's episode, how Mike could just continuously supporting sexual predators. It's kind of making me feel a little weird. I just want to throw that in there at the end. I don't know if you guys have any feelings on why Mike just continuously defends criminals.
It's inexplicable. I thought for a moment I understood where he was coming from, because he was saying that a particular crime had not been committed yet, and that's true.
It's true.
Trying to arrange for that crime to occur is also a crime. So he was as always, a weird hill to die on.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, everything he's saying is actually correct. So like, he'll be like, well, Louis C.K. really didn't but Mike, it's still bad. So you're taking a bad side, So that let's get out of the sexual predator. I think about 5-10 minutes on that is a little more than enough.
Capacity on sexual predator talk. So.
This is something let's get into our next topic here, and this is something I want to spend a little time on. First thing I want to talk about is, because we have this person on our show, is the episode named The Private Line. We found out this week, and it was kind of shocking to me a little bit, but not really.
Oh, really?
That the Private Line kind of has a direct in. What do you guys feel about this? Well, how are you handling this?
Lauren, I'll defer to you.
Oh, well, it's A, not shocking. B, doesn't really bother me. I don't think that's a regular thing. So if they feel that someone has something of value to say and they want to push them to the front of the line, I'm all for that.
Yeah, a valuable defense for somebody in the private line. That's what Mayo's trying to say.
No, I've always figured that, because when they did the first show with Kirk and his brothers, it was one of the first times Kirk did a YouTube show on his own. The first two callers were Tim and Canton and Steve from Providence, and I remember watching it and thinking, well, that's no fucking coincidence. That's Steve arranging for them. So from then on, I knew there must be a way to get them, to get them to the front of the line. But the private chat thing aside, if the point of it is that, if the Richie April guy, if Steve needs to ensure as a producer that guy gets to the front of the line, then that's his job. And of course that makes perfect sense.
You know what we'll do right here? Let's drop a Richie April line, because I think right here is a good spot to drop that. And this is, I think, a reason why we should be letting some people to the front of the line. So right now we're going to play a quick Richie April.
Wow, what a Richie April!
What a wow! Wowee! So basically, we just want to do that because I love this collar. I think the collars in this past week, actually the past 2 weeks, I would say, this week
They're
being
stepping
kind
it up
of
for sure.
they're stepping it up. This week being a slower show-wise episodes, I would say, but more or less better collars. I did see on the blog there is a ranking of the collars. It was actually pretty accurate. I don't know who wrote it. As the not controller of the blog, I have no idea who it was. Hands up. What do you guys think about what's going on with the collars?
I like it.
They're figuring it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Lauren, who's your favorite one?
Oh, I like the Trump collar.
Yeah, me too. Mayo,
Just
who's your
in
favorite?
general.
I like the Richie April guy and the junior guy. And I was amazed that I think this week was the first time Kirk threw out a clue for the junior line he was fishing for, and that the guy didn't have it readily available instead. Because he's been gold with Kirk tries to catch him, and until this week he's always gotten it. And I think if they were doing the calls every single day when the entire fucking world wasn't shut down, I might say, why is this a regular part of the show now? But I think Kirk has said it's a product of just it being a slow time, and I still wish they would call fans though, because there's a certain element to them surprising fans that was really fun.
They are.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that. And with quarantine, you'd think more people would be home right now.
Yeah.
But I'll take anyone who's doing an impersonation on the phone.
Oh yeah,
really.
definitely. I think my favorite caller is the guy who calls up and he's like, "Hey guys, it's Shirley." He just doesn't hide his face. He's like, oh, hey Shirley, like, yeah, what's going on? Like the KB kid, like the people who just don't try too hard. Like they're like, oh yeah, Shirley, what's going on? And I think it's the same guy who's just like, yeah, it's Julie DeCaro, what's going on?
Julie,
I like that guy. But to speak on them calling people, I do miss that because it kind of brought up that like out of the blue, like you just called some random person factor. Andrew, people forget that's how Adam the Jew was. That's how he was brought into this world. I mean, he was an original.
I like it.
That was back in early, I think, right around Christmas. That
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, so he was being called back then, and Steve started his anti-Semitism back then. So, who's your Lauren? Who's your least favorite caller right
now? Just anyone who calls and says, "What are your favorite books?" And I couldn't imagine. I don't call a lot because I really don't have a lot of material, but I couldn't imagine getting on the phone without a very good plan of something interesting to say.
Yeah. What about you, Mayo? Who's your least favorite right now?
I got to agree that anybody who calls in and then they'd have nothing to say, it's almost like the person who's in line at McDonald's. I'm stealing somebody's bit here, but they're in line at McDonald's for a half hour, and then when they get to the teller, they still don't know what the fuck they want. That pisses me off. I want to try to think of a shitty caller though. The little Carmine one today, like that could have been good, but he clearly just had the one Arnold Palmer line in the congratulations on your success. That's all he had. And he shot his shot right away. He got out of there.
Yeah.
That was but yeah, the performers are the best, and it's like you guys said, the impressionists are the best.
I think I want to know, like, I know you said the Timmy Canton thing earlier, but like I wonder who is a normal caller that we're not even picking up right now. You know what I mean? Who's slipping one by us right now? Who's doing, we're kind of getting into a world where these characters are actually being built right now. So that's actually, I mean, that's the goal of callers. Yeah, that's the goal of having callers. So I guess this calling thing is actually working. I know the first rundown I was on, we were discussing, should they even be doing this anymore? And now I think that was 2-3 weeks ago. And now here we are discussing who's our favorite and the worst. So I think we've made some great strides, and that huge shout out to the callers for that.
Absolutely.
Next thing I want to go over is what happened today. So what we'll do is we're going to drop a clip right here of them talking about the Barstool trademark and how it's going to affect, if Kirk ever leaves subscription service wise, or what's going to become of the word Minifan, which is something we now have to worry about. So let's drop that clip here.
The word Minifans, February 25th, 2020, applicant, Barstool Sports Incorporated, for the name Minifans. Steve, this is kind of on you.
Whoa. Why is this on me?
'Cause you're the business operation of this. I'm the creative side. You're the business,
not an
and
attorney.
Mike gets fitted for shoes.
Sure.
Wait, but you should have been ahead of this.
So you want me to go and copyright things to protect our employer from?
Well, for future use.
I'm sure that they'll let you have it back. What do you think they're going to sit on?
Yes.
They're going to
Well,
sit on Minifans if you leave.
I think
Ask
think they're
Alex
gonna-
and Sophia what they're doing.
I don't know. I
You
mean,
think they're going to sue you if you try to put out a shirt?
I'm looking forward to
5 years from
I'm
now.
looking forward to days watching that Pat McAfee wacky 60 minutes of programming, he calls it, or something. I don't know what it is.
So the clip that we dropped right there was Kirk finding out that, and I think this was another a crazy thing, and this is why I'm happy we record this a little later. I'm happy we didn't miss this, but Kirk finding out that the trademark is being placed on the word Minifans. Matt, what's your thoughts on what's going on right now?
I was surprised by that. But I don't know if maybe someone in the industry would tell me, no, Andy, that's standard. Like everybody should be doing that. That's just what happens. But to think that they own Minifan and Kirk doesn't is, alarming. And especially that it was happening without the show's knowledge.
Yeah.
And I was surprised that Kirk didn't seem more bothered by it. And I also wonder, I don't know if he was being totally honest when he tried to say that he didn't know anything about this until I think R.A. Minahan had a tweet about it. Because I don't know if you remember a few weeks back, Mike alluded to things that were causing conflict with Barstool behind the scenes. And at the time, I thought he was referring to some stuff, maybe like Kirk's movie thing not happening. But now I wonder if this was percolating back then too.
Maybe it could be. I mean, it was weird that RA came out with this while the show was going on, correct?
I don't know. I was playing catch up on it earlier today.
So,
I'm
yeah,
not
I
sure
saw
about
it.
the timeline.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, like, I saw it and it was earlier and I was like, and he was saying how, we're going to try to get the word Mincel. And I was like, well, shit, I guess we got to go to bat. I do want everybody to know I own the rights to mincelintel.com. So I will be looking into the word mincel.com later today just to get ahead of this thing, I guess. Now, Lauren, how do you feel about what's going on with that?
Well, my initial response is exactly like what Andy said. If it's behind Kirk's back, that's very strange to me. And I can't pretend to understand, the legalities and the business and all that. But when people compare it to like Call Her Daddy, I can see why Barstool could still do something with that name. They could put 2 other people in that podcast. What are you going to do with Minifan? If Kirk leaves and someone else is doing the podcast, that name means nothing. So it must have to I would hope just have something to do with using it for like merch purposes, but I don't know. It doesn't seem to make sense how that name has any value without him.
That makes sense about the merch. I hadn't thought of that. But
So,
Barstool wants to make sure there's, I'm not selling Minifan t-shirts.
Exactly.
Or
Like
something
I
that.
over the last weekend, I made a t-shirt that, it was a Minifan t-shirt. It said the word Minifans on it. So I sent it to Steve. Now, say he tried, if we're subscription service, he can't make that shirt now. Like, I wonder how that works trademark wise. And it was funny to hear Steve say, like, even Steve didn't know much about it. And he's like, I don't know how to even do that. Like Steve was like, this is stuff a lawyer's got to do.
Yeah.
His Christian lawyer. But I think this is pretty crazy. I know it happened as of like February. So it had to be once the pen thing happened. So, you have these new bigwigs in there doing stuff like this, so I'd imagine what they were doing is they knew what was about to happen with the Call Her Daddy stuff. And they're like, listen, we kind of have to protect our asses on this kind of thing. Because I can imagine Call Her Daddy is going to take them to the bank because, Call Her Daddy makes those people so much money on merchandise. It's insane. The Minifans are insane. And Call Her Daddy fans are growing in a massive amount.
So is it proactive that they're amassing negotiating chips already against Kirk in the event he wants to leave?
I don't want to accuse anything of that. I just think Barstool.
You just did, John.
Well, listen, buddy, you just did. I think Barstool is, and it's not just Kirk. I think Barstool is doing it across all of their assets. I think they're kind of, they're owned by a multinational billion-dollar company at this point. So, I think they're kind of a little bit more professional when it comes. I'm sure Portnoy didn't have this thing, trademarking Minifans on top of mind at all points in time, let alone churning. So I think this is a pretty crazy thing that's going on right now, especially with all the Call Her Daddy stuff. Do you guys have any opinions about what's going on with Call Her Daddy? Lauren, do you listen to it or no? Did you ever?
No,
God,
I don't. I am a fan of people who speak naturally, and I think of it as like if I were sitting at like a dinner with those two people and they were talking like that, and I'm not talking about what they're saying, the way they're speaking, I would have to get up and leave. I'm sorry, I can't deal with that.
Yeah,
way of
I think it was funny that we had Kirk mention it on the show and they talked about it a little, and immediately it was in their Reddit thread, like for Call Her Daddy. Like I guess Kirk's show was the only one that mentioned anything Barstool wise. So obviously Kirk going over his boundaries like normal. So I think what we'll do right now, we'll just jump into the after show. You guys have any topics you want to bring up? Anything about Kirk being on the shows? Anything like that? Mayo?
Well,
I know you always.
Lauren looks like she had something to say.
No, go ahead. I'm processing.
I would say that a little bit to expand on what you were talking about earlier, that if Kirk had gone on, say, with me and he went on with Menners, and if we tried to do what TJ and Steve did, I think it would have rang false. So I'm with you, John, that I feel like everybody did what they felt like was best. And, when Kirk talked to me, he very early on said, I'm sure you've got a ton of questions for me. Like he kind of knew what type of thing I would want to do.
Just you had the first interview too, so you had the advantage where I don't care. This is going to be an interview,
Yep. So he, I think he knew going into it. And I know they didn't like me asking about Kelleher, which I understand from their perspective. They don't give a shit.
I think that was a brave thing you did, and you made him talk about it for the first time in a while, actually.
I just knew there's at least a pocket of fans that were curious about, because he had earlier that day said if you're associated with him, you might get your show canceled. So it's like, well, what does that mean? Associated with him?
Yeah, like the kid is a fan of my show. Does that mean he's associated with me? Because like I don't text him every day. Like I don't really know Rich Kelleher, but the kid likes my show and he likes everything I said. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've never had a problem with him. I know he really, really screwed something up once in the past, and he's been excommunicated for it. But I think you clearing up the water.
You gotta stop talking about this, guys.
Yeah, right.
That's all right. They can cancel us.
Yeah. Lauren, what do you think? What other stuff you have to talk about?
To go on with the YouTube thing, not even so much with Kurt going on, but you keep hearing people saying, "Oh, it's reaction shows," and I think what people don't understand is everyone has an opinion. So my reaction, and I don't even think as the girls we really react that much. We talk about, guys' looks and what we like, and we touch a little bit on this show, and I think everyone has their own thing to add. So I'm not sure why people think they're all the same. I watch all of them, and I think everyone's doing something very unique. So it's strange. I'd have to wonder if the people bitching even are paying attention.
Or they're not watching to begin with. They just have.
They're definitely not watching.
Yeah, it's the cool thing to do is say, the YouTube channel is the same thing over and over, which if you say that, I mean, you're wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're all talking about Kirk because this is Kirk's channel.
Yeah, we love this show. Everyone wants to talk about it. That's why there's Twitter. That's why there's Discord. It's just another version of that. So I did want to ask.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask Andy, are you doing okay with the comments about your looks this week? Have people reached out to you and told you, don't worry about it, you're handsome?
So I did have a very well-meaning Minifan who reached out to me and said, "Hey, just so you know," they were like, I'm with Blind Mike. I don't think you're a weird-looking guy." And I was like, "Thanks a lot." And then later that night, I was like, "Oh, they're with the blind guy when it comes to assessing my looks." Like, thank you so much. And then I played some of it for my wife, and I thought my wife would be like, "Oh, they're crazy," and she was just like, "Well, you're already married and have kids, so what's it matter how you look?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." So, but in a way,
you just got the green light to let yourself go.
I might have already done that, but in a way, talking with Kirk, it kind of broke. I don't know. I feel less willing to like be a dick towards him on Twitter. But conversely, the other side of that coin is he could say almost anything about me now, and it kind of doesn't bother me. Like before
kind of
we talked
like
to
a
each
rag
other
doll for him, which is good. That's
Yeah.
you want to be. Yeah.
I honestly thought I get the sense now. I think he's okay with me, but going into him sitting down to talk to me, I really wasn't sure. I was like, is he might come in and fucking destroy me? Like maybe he really doesn't like me. So now when he calls me the C word, I just laugh about it. Before I would laugh at it, but also wonder in my head, like, does he mean that? And I'm sure he'll say he does mean it. I believe him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I have one last thing I want to bring up because we're at 25 minutes right about now. So, I mean, with the clips and everything, we want to keep this short. But what about the 5K? You two are doing the Mayo. I know you got your entry and your shirts and everything, and you had an extra one too. So you're looking to give it away. Lauren, are you taking the 5K thing?
Oh yeah, I'm all signed up. I'm excited.
There we go. So I know Red, and then we're doing a contest. I don't know if it's still going on, but I'm still going to mention it because we are still looking to give some entries away. So if anyone is looking to get an entry, we're sponsoring 2 people. I think Mayo, did you get rid of your second one yet?
No, I was going to give it to you guys to let you handle all the logistics of giving it away, if you don't mind.
Intern Nick just said he'll take one, so he needs one.
It's a double XL shirt. I apologize.
Perfect. So
and I'm not running, by the way. Is that? I hope that's okay. I'm not running.
I mean, it's not okay, Mayo.
I don't want to.
Are you
I don't want to
roller skating or something?
No, I just figured I'd buy the pass and then not actually run.
And then buy an extra one to make yourself
That's allowed.
Fun.
I don't want to. I was thinking it might be funny to do reverse training videos, like training videos of me just standing in my kitchen eating Funyuns mindlessly, and then try to run it without having trained at all.
I made one training video where it was me just sitting on the floor looking at my treadmill, and then I just stood up and walked away. So don't worry about it. But yeah, I think if anyone needs a sponsor for the, if they're a little short, I know what's going on right now where people are a little short on cash. If you're looking for a sponsor, please reach out to me, reach out to Red, reach out to, Mayo, reach out to any one of us, and we're more than willing to get you a sponsor in there because I think it's a good cause. And I'm, obviously anything for Kirk. So guys, I had a blast. Any last statements? Lauren, you have anything else to say before we get out of here?
No, this is fun, fast paced, lots of opinions.
Where's Red at?
Red's in the
Red's
background right
show.
now.
So you guys are gonna have rotating hosts?
Yeah, so the hosts are going to be rotating, guests are rotating, and we opened it up to absolutely anybody. So if you want to be a guest on the show, all you have to have is headphones. You don't need a mic, headphones and a cell phone, and you could get in here and give your opinions.
Cool.
Host wise, we're kind of trying to keep it to people on the YouTube channel, which is why the recent shows are mostly people on the YouTube channel because we want to see a good host. But I think a lot of people are starting to pick up on this show and like it, so we're going to keep doing it. As compared to my show last night with Mike. Yeah. I don't know if anyone watched me and Mike and Red's show last night, but we got the Kirk blessing immediately, and we're killing it in there. So. But yeah, guys, listen, I had fun. We're going to keep this going, and I'm very happy for you guys to join me today. Thank you so much. All right.
Yeah,
we'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Mayo, good job.
Yeah, I know.